Welcome everyone. We're doing a series about college football traditions. Every college football fan has that one tradition they look forward to every season. Some are loud, some are funny, some are emotional. And a few are so unique that if you try to explain them to someone who doesn't watch college football, they think you were making it up. Today we're looking at two traditions that couldn't be more different. One will probably make you laugh, and the other brought millions of people to tears. Let's start in South Bend. The running of the Gingers. If you ever attended a Notre Dame game before kickoff, you may have witnessed one of the strangest unofficial traditions in college football. Hundreds, sometimes well over 1,000 redheads gather together before the game and sprint across campus in what has become known as the running of the Gingers. Yes, it's exactly what it sounds like. Inspired by the famous running of the bulls in Pamplona, Spain, this version replaces bulls with people who have naturally red hair. The event began in the early 2010s as a light-hearted gathering organized by students. It was never an official Notre Dame athletic event, but social media quickly turned it into something much bigger. Today, participants travel from around the country just to be a part of it. The atmosphere is completely different from the intensity of football. Instead of rivalries and trash talk, you get costumes, laughter, selfies, families, alumni, and one giant celebration of something as simple as having red hair. It has become one of those traditions that remind you college football Saturdays are about much more than the game itself. Notre Dame already has iconic traditions like Touchdown Jesus, the Golden Dome, the Play Like a Champion Today sign, and the team they walk to the stadium. The running of the Gingers adds another layer of personality that makes game day in South Bend unlike anywhere else. Now here's the question. If your school started a tradition like this, would fans embrace it? Or would they think it was completely ridiculous? Let me know in the comments, because I honestly think opinions are going to be all over the place. And now we move from one of the funniest traditions to perhaps the most meaningful tradition in all of sports. At the end of the first quarter of every Iowa home game, something remarkable happens. More than 70,000 fans stand together, the players stop, the coaches turn, and the officials pause. The visiting team even joins in, and everyone waves toward the University of Iowa Stead Family Children's Hospital. The hospital sits right beside Kinnick Stadium with patient rooms overlooking the field. Children and their families can watch the game from their windows, even while receiving treatment. In 2017, someone suggested that instead of simply playing football while those children watched, why not acknowledge them? And the idea was incredibly simple. A wave. That's it. No expensive ceremony and no elaborate production. Just tens of thousands of people taking a few seconds to let those children know they haven't been forgotten. Almost immediately became one of the most respected traditions in American sports. Television broadcasts now anticipate it. Players for both teams point toward the hospital, and many visiting fans participate without hesitation. And for those children watching from the windows, it's a reminder that an entire stadium is thinking about them. There are stories of families saying that that simple wave became one of the brightest moments during an incredibly difficult time. And that's the power of sports, not the scoreboard, not the rankings, just people connecting with other people. College football has hundreds of traditions. Some make us laugh, some confuse us, and some are incredibly loud. And some remind us that football can be about something much bigger than football itself. Notre Dame's running of the Gingers celebrates community in one of the quirkiest ways imaginable, and the Iowa Wave celebrates compassion in one of the simplest ways imaginable. Both have become unforgettable parts of college football Saturdays. And now I want to hear from you. Which tradition is better? Is the Iowa Wave the greatest tradition of all sports? Or is there another college football tradition that deserves this title? Maybe it's Clemson touching Howard's Rock. Maybe it's the Mississippi State Cowbells, Virginia Tech entering to enter Sandman. Or maybe it's something from your own school that doesn't get enough national attention. Tell me in the comments. I'd love to feature some of your suggestions in the next video of this series. So if you could preserve only one college football tradition forever, which one would you choose? And why? And just as an aside, on the last video I did about traditions, I disparaged the Oklahoma Sooner Schooner. And I just wanted to clarify, I actually like that one quite a bit. It's just they overdo it during a football game. But looking back at that, I found that to be one of the coolest things, really, in concept, maybe not in execution. But that's really a novel little thing, and I really like the Seminoles, Florida State throwing that spear out. I still remember that. It gives me chills every time I see it. So let me know in the comments if you have a fan, have you had observed any traditions that you still remember, things that really made you feel different about a team. A team you might not have thought much about, and you saw a tradition maybe on television, maybe you went to a game. And that's really kind of how the tradition should be measured, how they feel to the crowd that's actually doing it. Because it adds so much more character to the game experience. I noticed when I was doing my soccer videos, how the soccer fans just take over sections of the stadium and they have their own little private parties in the stadium. And the atmosphere of the crowd in a soccer match is just something else. So kind of like the hockey. And then a couple of little notes I wanted to ask if any of you have heard about Athens getting an arena football. And if you are subscribed to the channel or watch as much, do you think would you like me to do some videos about that arena football team that Athens is going to get? And we've already got a minor league, I guess, hockey team here in Athens. So Athens is maybe transitioning from music town to sport town. One thing we need to make that happen, we need another national championship trophy in football, my opinion. You know, the baseball team did really well. They unfortunately had dropped to Oklahoma. The team that eventually won it all. I guess, you know, you could take a little solace in that. You got knocked out by the champ. I guess you can't argue with that. So all in all, we've had a pretty good year here in Georgia. Football won the SEC. The basketball team made the NCAA tournament. You know, baseball passed the regional, almost got to Omaha, or maybe did, but they didn't quite make the series where they got to play for the actual World Series, but they did well. So 3 sports in Georgia doing quite well. Let me know if you want me to cover any of those sports a little more in depth. I mean, I got time, and it is our teams. And football, still got a little while to go. Speaking of football, kind of still wonder what you guys think about this team. It's very hard to get information from that Kirby Smart camp about what's really going on. You just have to read between the tea leaves to know anything. But I've heard reports that Gunnar Stockton has been really working hard on his mechanics, and I'm kind of excited to see what that offense might put together, and if the defense can gel or get enough pressure and keep teams from doing what Mississippi did and just wearing us out with a pass. I think we might have a pretty good shot. That's all I got for now. I'm Arthur Woods, just a fan and a fan of life, and I'll see you next time.